Welcome back to another video on Excellence of Sports, and let's get straight into it and talk about how the show started, because this was interesting. And so Elijah and Frankie Kazarian, they had their match. It was a little quick match, it didn't last too long. Frankie Kazarian got the win. I mean, he should call your shot gauntlet winner, so he shouldn't be losing. So I like the fact that he won, but the way that he did win was kind of stupid. Like, you shouldn't have to have Joe Hendry get involved. Like, Elijah can take a loss. Like, this is why, like, shout out to Jaquel, because we was talking the other day, and she was like, the reason why TNA and WWE work so well together is because they do a lot of the same things, which I'm going to get into. And that's why AEW and New Japan get along well, because they like the same style of wrestling, while TNA and WWE do the same style of story. So I definitely seen that in this episode of Impact with the way that Frankie Kazarian won this match. Like, Elijah can be a face and take a loss. Like, he don't have to be protected. And then after the match, Joe Hendry, he snapped. He went on to attack Frankie Kazarian, and he's attacking officials and the security team. Then Elijah tried to stop him. Elijah elbows Joe Hendry to get him off of him. He elbowed him like this. So then Joe Hendry takes an injury later in the night. And what I'm thinking, if Joe Hendry ends up retaining, then Elijah's going to take that title from him, because that wasn't no accident. He tried to play it off like it was, but he did that on purpose, because he wanted him weak. That's Joe. Elijah's trying to take advantage of Joe Hendry, and they're making it so obvious. But I like how they're doing it, where they making him trying to seem like he can trust him. But then once they zoomed in on what he did later in the show, it was like, yeah, he did that on purpose. But this whole match, like the way Frankie Kazarian won, it was stupid. I didn't like it. Now they playing this angle of Joe Hendry being hurt. I don't really like it. I mean, it's cool for the story, but I feel like it's unnecessary. Like, you don't got to protect people this much. Like, you can take a loss. You don't have to get into you're a babyface and you're beating up security guards for what reason? Like Frankie Kazarian didn't do nothing that crazy. Like, sure, he warranted an attack, but it wasn't nothing like egregious that he did. But anyways, next segment, Eddie Edwards. So what they did last week when they had Eddie Edwards and the system, when they had their segment on YouTube, I'm glad they did that, because it's like, if you really rock with TNA, then you're going to watch the segment so you can keep up with the show. And then next week, you won't be confused about what's happening. You're going to be like, oh, we aired this on social media on purpose. So I like that. So it's like, it made you have to pay attention. So I was glad I watched it, because I was like, I'm a TNA fan. So what? Well, I'm a wrestling fan. So let me check this out. I've been keeping up with TNA. So I'm like, okay, now it makes sense, because they did that on social media to see how the YouTube side will react to it, and then they brought it on to TV the next week to play more into the story. But what I didn't like about the segment is the fact that Eddie Edwards called everybody out, and Moose is the only one with a championship. It was like he went down the line. JDC, he was like, I'm buying in. Brian Myers, he bought in. Alyssa Edwards, that's his wife. Of course he gonna buy in. Then Cody Deaner came out there. For what reason? Cody Deaner is the last person that's gonna change Moose's mind. Like, Moose should have been the one to turn babyface, because the fans actually did want it. The fans were super behind him turning and becoming a face. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen, but realistically, he should have, because he's the champion. Why is Eddie Edwards trying to make these decisions where he don't have a championship? He put Moose into an Ultimate X match. So think about it. Then you had the segment, then Zara Brookside, Masha Slamovich, Lee Ting Lee. They cut a promo backstage. It was pretty solid. It wasn't memorable. Doesn't mean it was bad, but it was just, it helped build up anticipation, and it helped build up the match it helped build up the main event match. That was terrible. Okay. The Meta Girls took on Spitfire. This match was actually pretty solid. Had Ariana Grace on commentary. And then, even though Lash hit Jakar on accident, the Meta Girls still ended up winning the match. So that small mistake didn't cost them, because the Spitfire Girls, I be getting their names confused sometimes. One of them, she was out for a while on the outside. So the Meta Girls were able to end up getting a win. And I'm liking how NXT and TNA, it's becoming more equal to them getting wins. Now, when it comes to them winning championships, that's when it becomes a different story. But I'm gonna get into that later in this video. But the Meta Girls got the win. It was a solid match. I enjoyed it. The Hardy Boys cut a promo. Then they were interrupted by the Great Hands and Tasha Steele. I feel like they moved on from Tasha Steele too quick as a wrestler. Like, she was really solid, and now she's managing the Good Hands. Like, I feel like there was more she could do for the women's division. Like, she don't gotta win. Like, she could be one of those people where it's like she's 50-50. Like, some weeks, like, you never know if she's gonna get a win and she's gonna lose. Like, she should win She can win on some underhanded tactics or something like that, or she could lose just because she just got out wrestled by the other person. Like she could be somebody that's, oh yeah, like they 3-3 going into this match, so it's like, or they 10-10 this year. Like I feel like she could be one of those people. I don't like her managing, and she has a great voice. She's a good talker, so it makes sense. Like she's good as a manager, but I wish she could do a little bit of both. I wish she could manage and wrestle. I feel like that'd be a good mix. Kind of the same with Ava in NXT. Like I feel like they gave up on her kind of quick. I think these people will be brought back as wrestlers someday, but these roles they're in now, I think it's kind of testing to see what they're best at. I think, Tessa Steele works really good as a manager, but I do want to see her get in the ring and wrestle more. But maybe that's just a personal thing. Let me know how y'all feel, because I think Tessa Steele is decent in the ring. But then the Great Hands and the Hardys, they end up having a match. The Hardy Boys ended up getting the win. Tasha Steele was on commentary. She didn't interfere in anything. So, and it was a non-title match. The Hardys, them winning made sense. If Tasha Steele interfered so they could get a match for the titles, it would have been justified. But the Hardys gonna do some stuff with the Nemeth brothers, which is why they didn't go that route. So I understand it. Speaking of the Nemeth brothers, Leon Slater and Ryan Nemeth's backstage segment was stupid in my opinion, because the Hardy Boys are back now. They can defend themselves. Like, I know he wanted to defend the Hardy Boys because they stuck up for him, but you just been added to the Ultimate X match at Rebellion, so you need to focus on that and not what the Nemeth brothers are doing. Let the Hardys take care of that themselves, because it's a 2-on-2 battle. It's not like Leon Slater. Like, really, you making the baby faces the odd team. So it's like, are the Hardy Boys gonna help him if he wrestles Ryan Nemeth next week? Most likely no, because they're baby faces, so it wouldn't make sense. So it's like, you need to move on from this stuff with Leon Slater. Like, just make Leon Slater do his own thing. Don't have him focus on that. Next week, have the Hardys come out and be like, we appreciate you, but you're in this Ultimate X match and you can win your first ever title, so focus on that. That's what they should be on next week. I feel like they should say that to Leon Slater so they can get him out of the story, to make him focus on winning the championship for the first time. Because I like Leon Slater. I think that would be, I think they're trying to add some character to him, so I get what they're doing, but I think that would be better. Mance Warner, Steph DeLander, that segment was interesting. Santino interrupted, like, this is a family program. Oh, I've seen TNA matches, sir. So much for family program. But then, this is what I'm talking about with TNA and WWE being similar in different ways. So it was like, the way that they sold Digital Media Championship is getting retired. It's no longer going to be on TNA because Santino made him relinquish it. It took for Sami Callihan to take out Mance Warner, and we'll get into that later. And then Santino announced that it's going to be a TNA International Championship, which I don't like because AEW has that. So it's like, it feels like a copy. It feels like you're copying AEW. Like, you couldn't have came up with anything else except for international. I guess another wrestling company with that already. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I feel like international. I feel like, and then their partnership with AEW didn't go good either. And then then Santino said the tournament's gonna consist of multiple triple threat matches, and that's something that WWE does. They do tournaments with multiple triple threat matches, and I don't like that. Like, just do a regular tournament with one-on-one matches, or do a battle royal or something. Like, stop it. Like, WWE does it so much, and now TNA is doing it, and they got the partnership. Like, that's so similar, and it's so, like, I do not like that at all. Like, just make it something regular, or make it like a ladder match, or, well, now you already have an Ultimate X match. Like I said, do a battle royal or something. Like, do a six-pack challenge. Do more stuff like that. More stuff we don't usually see. Then the Good Hands and Tasha Steele, they kidnapped Mike Santana's friend. I forgot his name. And then Mike Santana, he was pissed once he saw him. But yeah, that was interesting. I don't know what to think of that. I wasn't a fan of it, because the purpose of them kidnapping him was kind of stupid, because he ended up back in the arena. But moving on from that, Tessa Blanchard, then 2/3 of Fatal Influence, which was Jasmine Nix and JC Jane, took on Lee Ching Lee, Zah Brookside, and Masha Slamovich. This was a good match. It was fun. And obviously, Fallon Henley, she got involved. And then Tessa, she was real sneaky with it. She was able to get in the match and pin Masha Slamovich. So Tessa Blanchard, Fatal Influence, won. Like I said, Fallon Henley, she caused a distraction. Zah Brookside, she got distracted by Rosemary. So it was really a 5-on-3, because Rosemary did she didn't directly get involved, but she showed up in the crowd. Then that distracted Zod Brooks' side. It didn't matter in the moment, but well, it didn't matter directly in the moment, but it did take her a little bit of time, which is why the kickout happened. Because if she wasn't distracted, she probably could get the win, or somebody on or Tesla or somebody could have came in the ring to stop the pinfall. But yeah, the heel team, they end up winning, like I said, and that was the main event. Then you got the last segment, Frankie Kazarian, he was like, I'm calling my shot at Rebellion. That's when I'm cashing in this contract to become the new TNA World Champion. Then All Ego Ethan Page made an appearance on Impact. He returned to TNA and he was like, you know what? You want to take on somebody that's injured for the championship? That's real wise of you, which it is. And then it was announced that All Ego is going to be, he announced himself that he's facing Joe Hendry. Now, if All Ego wins, now I said it's kind of short that I made. If All Ego wins and Frankie Kazarian cashes in, I don't mind. Because think about it. And then even if he holds it for just a few minutes, TNA and NXT haven't held the other brand's belt. So he was to do that and make history. And then like he beats the injured Joe Hendry. And then Frankie Kazarian's like, you know what, I am going to cash in on somebody that's hurt and it's going to be you. Then he cashed in on Ethan Page. And it's like, it changes hands in 2 nights, which isn't a bad thing because it makes sense for the story. NXT and TNA got this partnership, so one of them brands is going to have to get the other one's world title, even if it's just for a day or just for a few minutes, and some screwy is going to have to happen, and that's how you get to Frankie Kazarian winning it. Because All Ego, he's a great wrestler. He can go in ring. I think he's, like, just in ring talent, I think Ethan Page is better than Joe Hendry. Like, promos and stuff, then that's a different conversation for a different day. But I think just in ring wise, because it's not really much build up to, I mean, I'm sure they're going to try to do their best to build it up. But if Joe Hendry's injured, it's going to be hard to do that. But I think if they do it right, you can make it believable for All Ego to win. Doing some cheap heel stuff, just raking the eyes, putting his feet on the ropes when he go for a pin, getting the leverage or something like that. And that's when Frankie Kazarian, he already said he calling his shot, but he could be cashing in on All Ego Ethan Page. And then, or he can make it a triple threat match and win that way. But I'd rather go and change hands in 2 nights so you can have that moment for WWE and TNA, because it's something we ain't seen before. But yeah, I give the show a 7 out of 10. It was a good show. Solid in-ring work for a lot of these matches. Some good story building. A little bit of lazy booking with some of these segments, but it wasn't too bad. But wasn't like nothing egregious. So like I said, a 7 out of 10 for this episode of Impact. I think this is the third week in a row I gave TNA a 7 out of 10. So they've been consistent. I mean, good show. 7 out of 10 is good. So that's good consistency that they're showing. So leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment what y'all thought about tonight's Impact if y'all were able to check it out. Peace.